I'm Dale Lawrence. Welcome to the Travel Show.
Fly different, feel extraordinary. Bangkok Airways, Asia's boutique airline.
Thanks for joining us. This week we're in Cha Am, sometimes referred to as Hua Hin's little sister. It's less developed than Hua Hin, but that's changing, and it's changing fast. We're now seeing new hotels and condominiums opening up right along this stretch of coastline. Now, Cha Am, like Hua Hin, grew in popularity at the start of the 20th century, and that's when the railway connecting Bangkok with the Malayan Peninsula was finally completed. The Royal Siamese Railway, with the support and encouragement of King Rama VI, started to promote and develop this part of Thailand as a tourist destination. The king ordered the construction of a palace close to where I'm standing today. That palace was used as a venue for a dinner party given when government heads were in Thailand for a recent ASEAN summit. So nearly 100 years later, who's coming to Cha Am? Join me after the break when I talk to Martin Reich, General Manager of the Sheraton Hua Hin Resort and Spa. Stay tuned.
Amazing Thailand, just as amazing as you remember.
Man you're looking at is Sup Nakasatian, a former superintendent of Hoi Ka Keng Wildlife Sanctuary. He committed suicide as a cry to society and to public authorities to solve natural resources problems, especially those in Hoi Ka Keng Forest, which at the time were very much unknown to the general public. Oh, but we came for travel, so let's not dwell on something so serious. Let's suppose you're a conservationist and you are about to explore this lush forest. This wildlife sanctuary offers 3 areas for tourists to explore closely. UNESCO declared the forest a World Heritage Site in 1991 because of the vast, fertile variety of plants and wildlife. Ah, that's a tiger. No, come to think of it, I don't want to see it. Just indulging in the pure, beautiful nature is impressive enough.
Martin Reich, thank you very much for coming on the Travel Show. Martin, there was a survey released recently that suggested that beach holidays are going to decline in popularity a little bit in favour of adventure travel. And I'm wondering if that type of survey result worries you in your capacity as a general manager of a 5-star resort right on the beach.
Actually, I don't think this survey will be very much in use for our property, because again, Hua Hin and Sheraton Hua Hin is the property is very much built on mice business and for elder generation. So it's literally the people who the children are out of the home, and the mortgage is paid for. This kind of customers are our main customers. And
yeah, I think they're called prime-time travellers,
yeah,
or silver agers now, Martin. And that's a significant part of your client base here,
yes,
is it?
Absolutely. And looking especially, our main market is Thailand, but Asia is growing, and also Europe. And like you said, the prime time travelers from all the statistics in Europe, they're becoming more and more. And I think therefore there is still a lot for us to grow and gain more business out of it.
Let me just pick you up on something. You said your principal market is Thailand.
Yes.
So you're capturing a sizable share of the traffic, presumably predominantly coming down from Bangkok, I guess,
yes.
which is what, 180, 200 kilometers north of here.
Yeah, Bangkok is only about, like from here to the west in Sukhumvit Road, it's only about 200 kilometers, 2 hours traveling time. And Hua Hin, Cha Am area, obviously the hotel itself in Cha Am, but we're just on the border from Hua Hin. We're talking about an average of 1.8 million Thai tourists in this area every year, and only question mark about 600,000 foreigners from overseas who come to this area, because obviously the majority goes to the south and other destinations of Thailand. And especially a lot of companies in Thai companies like to bring their associates to Hua Hin for a long weekend, which is very successful on the weekends, especially Saturdays. Hua Hin will be 99% always booked out, and public holidays, and throughout the week we still run very good occupancies throughout the year.
Yeah. But are you missing out in a sense then on the international tourists coming to Thailand? Are you finding then that they're preferring to go to other parts of Thailand rather than spend the bulk of their vacation on this particular stretch of coastline?
If you look at Thailand as a holiday destination, for sure, Phuket is number one with, I think, out of the 14 million on average, let's say 14, 15 million who come to Thailand, a fair bit of 7 million are going to Phuket.
And some are flying direct, of course, others
there's
flying.
A lot going. I mean, last year I think Phuket
Bangkok.
Airport had about 7.2 million arrivals in that small airport there. Then and then there's a lot going to Pattaya. But again, those two names are very known to the world. I mean, Hua Hin is surely not on the big map of this world, and I also think it's still kept as a jewel in Thailand, because the Thai people themselves, the middle class and upper class, because through the life of the royal families, all the kings from the past and the existing king have their houses, their estates in this area. So the Thai people very much, as they're very close to the king and the royal family, love this area and like to keep it a little bit themselves, I think.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, in fact, I mentioned in my introduction about King Rama VI.
Yes.
Building the palace, which are very close actually to this property.
Yeah, just about
it?
30 minutes from here. Yeah.
And I mean, this was, almost 100 years ago now. I'm surprised in a way that perhaps it's not an area that's better known amongst the international tourism community. As you say, it's very popular with Thai people, and extremely popular as a weekend getaway destination for people living in Bangkok. But you talked about 14, 15 million arrivals. The Tourism Authority of Thailand is looking to exceed 19 million next year.
Absolutely.
And you'd want a slice of that increased market, wouldn't you?
But I think we're definitely going to get, but what is the pros and cons of Hua Hin and Sheraton Hua Hin is really that I think there is nowhere in Thailand so many beautiful golf courses than in Hua Hin. Cham, we have about 16 golf courses in total in this area, 2 very professional ones, Banyan and Black Mountain. Springfield, there's many very good golf courses in this area, so there will be a big capture on that one. The motorway from Bangkok to here just finished about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So since that is finished, it will be great. And again, family, I'm sure Hua Hin will be a very strong international family destination, and because there is very limited nightlife in this area, so the kind of customer coming here are families.
And that's good news for some people, of course, isn't it?
Oh,
It means
absolutely.
that the noise levels are down a little bit.
the noise level, traffic, also the kind of customer you attract if there is no nightlife whatsoever.
But Martin, it's not just prime-time travellers that you're attracting here, is it? You're totally geared up for a family holiday with all the facilities. So you would be looking to attract family groups from your principal source markets, presumably in Western Europe, Scandinavia, North America possibly?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've been doing a lot since last year. we are gearing up a lot for family. So we have a lot of our packages are based on families with 2 children. So very, very good price ranges and good packages for families to afford, especially during the summer seasons when the school holidays are in Europe. We have a beautiful kids club, I mean a very big one. Year on year we improve it, so by next year we're going to have an additional slide. We're going to have some climbing area for the children to climb up and down. We have computers there, we have a full kids club where people can do paintings.
And is it operated as a creche under supervision?
Yes, for sure.
Can the mums and dads leave the children there?
100%. Yeah. Children under 3 years are allowed to be for free of charge. The whole day can be there. There's 2 fully trained employees there. And even in the evening we have the service of babysitting. So if the mother and father want to go for dinner, we have fully trained babysitters. As we're an American company, whatever we do has to be 100% in line with the law. And so they're all first aid trained, they're all kids club trained and things like this. Yes.
Indeed. Yes, you mentioned the ownership of the property, and of course you're part of the Starwood.
Yes, yes.
Starwood Group, aren't you? That must bring benefits. I mean, Starwood is well known for its loyalty.
Yes, absolutely.
Club, and you've got sister properties in Bangkok,
yes,
of course. That I'm just wondering, are you finding that people are combining perhaps 3 or 4 days in Bangkok at one of your sister properties in the Starwood Group, and then coming down for rest and relaxation?
Absolutely.
On the beach?
Absolutely, not just Bangkok. There is people who are combining, you know, the typical European traveler comes to Thailand, or the majority is like returnees and everything. They go 3-4 days to Chiang Mai or Chiang Rai, where we have a property, the Le Meridian there. Then they go to Bangkok 2 or 3 days, and then some of them go to Phuket for a couple of days in our properties, or Khao Lak, and while traveling back here, they stay 2-3 days here. Or we even have a lot of guests who come back from Australia, UK travelers, and then they stop in Bangkok and come down here for 2-3 days to relax, just take some fresh air, you know, before you go back to work again, coming from Australia working, staying here a few days to relax and go on. So.
Because it would be, what, a 2-hour transfer from Suvarnabhumi International Airport?
Yeah, about 2.5 now.
2.5,
because
yeah.
Depends on what time of the day you drive. But
and it depends how many large buses are in the fast lane of the highway coming down here, of course.
But you mentioned about loyalty with Starwood. I mean, I worked now 17 years for Starwood as a company, and it has grown so much. It has become really, I think, one of the most exciting upscale 5-star company running those hotels, and even our loyal customers, about only in Asia Pacific, about 50% of all of our occupancy is run by SPG customers, so by returning guests. Even in China, we're running around 60% of the occupancy is people Starwood preferred guests, which are literally earning miles, points, and everything, and they come back. It's a huge market, and this is really the benefits of our company.
Absolutely. And you mentioned China, and in fact, we were talking on the travel show a couple of weeks ago to a colleague of yours, Richard Chapman, the general manager of the Sheraton Grand Sukhumvit in Bangkok, telling us about the strength of your brand in China and how that will probably help you as we start to see this expansion in numbers of outbound tourists coming out of the People's Republic of China. You know, the reports are now suggesting that by 2015, China will be the world's largest source market for tourists. Absolutely. Are you geared up for that here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we are in Thailand, I mean, the Thai people have a fairly strong, especially the Thai business people.
Yes.
There's a lot of Chinese influence, especially the south of China.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of heritage of China down in Bangkok. A lot of the business people, the Thai business people have Chinese heritage. So obviously a lot of our foods, I mean, Chinese traveler, what is important for anybody in the world is their food. And wherever you go, you want to eat what you know. So we do have their congee, we have the tea, the hot water kettle in the rooms to make the green tea and things like this.
What about the language? Have you got Mandarin speakers here?
We have 1 or 2 Mandarin speaking people here, and we always have like exchange trainees and things like this, which we select also through the this will be a huge market coming soon, yeah, out of China.
And you're going to be cherry picking, I think, at the higher end of that market, aren't you? I mean, I think, you know, the vast majority of those tourists coming out of China are not going to be staying in five-star luxury resorts. They're going to be looking for probably more modestly priced accommodation. But the top end would be attracted by a resort like this, I would think.
But again, we would more concentrate on the MICE business out of China. So the tour series, you know, where, well, even now we have a couple of tour series in the hotel, which for people from China who like travel in a group, and because it's still, I mean, I worked myself about 11 years ago in Beijing, so and since that time I realized as well that Chinese like to travel in a group. They're not necessarily, if they travel individually, it's mainly going to Paris or New York. But going within Asia, they like traveling with groups, and we will concentrate on that for sure.
And Martin, we're talking about China, and of course, China is a market in tourism terms where they do a lot of research online, but still prefer in the main to book through their favorite travel agent. But what about in other major source markets for you? Are you finding that more and more people are booking online now?
Actually, for us as a resort destination in Hua Hin Charm area, I have about 80% of our bookings are direct bookings.
When you say direct, you mean someone's picking up the telephone and asking for a good deal?
Yes.
Right. And that's predominantly local calls, I guess.
No, not direct booking is also MICE groups, weekends, Saturdays, but like we have about 5-6 girls sitting on the reservation, and they're very busy, believe me. The rest is 10% comes from our own website. Website meaning the Sheraton website, and then obviously the third party. The rest comes from third party, or from our global sales office. Of course, is also included in the Mars.
Okay, and you're offering an element of your room inventory onto the more popular booking sites such as Agoda, I guess.
Expedia.com, hotelrooms.com, things like this we use a lot there. The thing is, I think in a resort hotel it's still a lot more, you know, a resort hotel, the guest, in the end of the day, you know, when you go to a resort hotel, you have to pay yourself, you're not on a holiday. So meaning guests are very price sensitive. So they rather talk to somebody personally, have this personal contact to somebody on the phone, find out exactly what room category they book. They really want to know everything. They're not just, like, you know, when you're in a business in a city for sure, online booking is a lot easier because, I mean, you book, you spend very little time in the room, the company pays for it or something like this, and it's easy. But in a resort hotel, our guests are very price sensitive. They're sitting around, you know, they want to enjoy the holiday, but it's their hard-earned money they're going to spend here. Yeah, so they want to know who they book it with, what room category. Even the people booking through travel agent, what very important is of course online social media. What is people writing about our property? Because what I have learned in the last 2-3 years is the majority of our guests, they go to the travel agent in Germany or Sweden or UK, they go in there, but then eventually when they go and book with Kuoni or Mickey or Virgin or any of the big companies, they go to the travel agent, they say, okay, I want to go to Hua Hin Charm, they look what is offer, then they go back home and they look at the internet. They put in the names of the hotels they want to go to, and then they start reading. What is the social sites talking about them, you know? And then they make their decision. And every time I talk to any like tourist who books through the travel agent, 99% of the time this is the story they tell me. They go to the travel agent, they select the destination, then they go, and then they look at the social site. What about that hotel? And
so it's imperative that you monitor the reviews on popular sites such as TripAdvisor, as well as the social media communications channels that we're all exposed to nowadays.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's very difficult because when you look at TripAdvisor pages like this, which is very strong, but their social media site, when you look at it, you know, we are all the kind of humans we are. If we are very, very unhappy, we write a review. If we are overexcited happy, we write a review. But 99% who are just happy, they don't write anything.
Martin, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. We'll be back with more with Martin Reich after the break. But first, here's a roundup of the latest news. Tax-free spending by Chinese travellers nearly doubled last year to a staggering $1.84 billion US dollars, putting them at the top of the league table for this type of travel expenditure. Tax-free transaction specialist Global Blue also recorded impressive growth in tax-free spending by tourists from Brazil, Indonesia and Russia, whilst tourists and travellers from France, the UK, Italy and Germany also maintained significant spending whilst on their travels, despite the continuing economic problems in Western Europe and particularly in the Eurozone. In Vietnam, the country's National Administration of Tourism is reporting an impressive increase of more than 35% in tourism revenue during the first half of 2011, and that's due in part to more high-spending international visitors choosing Vietnam as their holiday destination. The first 6 months of this year, Vietnam welcomed almost 3 million international travellers, an increase of 18% on the same period last year. The Tourism Authority says the average length of stay in Vietnam is about 10 days, with Australia and Russia the leading source markets.
Let's head north to visit the beautiful Payao Lake. This artificial lake is a breeding resource of several fish, including the province's renowned mango fish. Locals cast out nets to catch them fresh before making their famous dishes. An abandoned temple sits in the middle of the lake. Built more than 500 years ago, the Lok Aram is actually sinking into the water. Enshrined within is a stone Buddha, which visitors like to pay homage to while enjoying the beautiful scenery of the lake. But be warned, watching the stunning sunset here might leave you feeling like you don't want to go home.
Amazing Thailand, just as amazing as you remember.
Welcome back. I'm talking to Martin Wright, the General Manager of the Sheraton Hua Hin Resort and Spa. Martin, the environment, sustainable tourism, buzz phrase now in the industry. Now, just walking around your resort, I mean, you've got a tremendous amount of water, for example. You've got a massive lagoon swimming pool. What are you doing to reduce your carbon footprint here?
Actually, we as a company, Starwood is worldwide. Of course, we have our goals to reduce carbon footprints by 30% by 2020. Luckily for Sheraton Hua Hin Resort and Spa, we only have been built 4 years ago. So therefore, we already have a lot of newer technology in place. Our pool, even it's a very big one, it's split in two different pools. Right now we got about 4 or 5 offers to change the pool into salt water, which seems to be a little bit difficult because of the size of it. So we have 4,000 square meter pool, which is a little bit difficult to handle for salt water pool systems. But nevertheless, we are working on that. For the hotel itself,
just explain what difference will that make in terms of reducing energy consumption?
Energy consumption, literally chlorine. You need to make chlorine. It's not our energy, but it's not good for the world and it's not good for the environment.
I see. Okay.
But if you use chlorine, the amount of chlorine we use to chlorinate a pool, which is first of all, the safety aspect, we still don't know how much chlorine is affecting the humans in our life.
So from a health and safety point of view, you'd like to switch to a saltwater pool. It's a question of whether it's viable to do so given the size of the pool you've got here.
We have changed since the last 2 years since I'm here. We have changed all external lights, so the landscaping lights, which have been 80 watt, 240 volt lights before. We changed to LED, which is only 3 watt and 12 volts. So just imagine how much money, energy this saves over the years. The investment was about 2 million for 700 lights in the public area. And at the moment we're working with Philips Thailand and a local company on behalf of Philips to change all light bulbs. I think we're talking about 7,500 light bulbs to LED. The investment is about 7-8 million because one of those light bulbs, the new one, costs about 700 baht. The light itself, guaranteed 2 years warranty, about 45,000 hours of burning. They guarantee you the light. And the energy consumption is saving.
Okay, there's an awful lot of light bulbs to change, Martin. Yeah. What's the payback period for that?
About 2 years. 2 years. But the company, the good thing for us is the company makes the investment. So literally we pay the difference, what we would pay the electricity company, we give to them. So it's a good investment. We don't have to put the money there. Our electricity bill in the hotel, we're talking about 2.1 million baht a month.
Yeah. Now, look, we've talked about the popularity of this resort for people coming on holiday, but you've also got a convention centre here, haven't you, attached to the hotel? And the MICE business, the meetings and incentives conference business, took a bit of a hit, not just here, but right across Thailand, when we had the troubles in Bangkok just over a year ago. The company's coming back. Is that element of your business now picking up?
Actually, it sounds bad what I'm going to say now, but actually last year when Bangkok was not very stable, it was good for us because we actually picked up very well. We had a lot of business, we had a lot of MICE business, we actually over budgeted for this year because we didn't thought it had such an impact, but now we realize what a positive impact it had last year. Luckily, one thing we have done very good in our environment, we gone overseas, we gone a little bit out of our range, and we looked at Indian market, which is like China, a very growing market, and we have a fair bit of Indian MICE business, Singaporean MICE business, Hong Kong, and again, 40% of our business, I mean 80% is Thai business, but 40% of our MICE business is really local companies, and about 20% are overseas companies. Yeah, but the total is because if you have people coming from a meeting in a convention or for a wedding or for any function, of course they're going to stay in-house for dinner. Yeah, the tourists or the Thai people, when they come, they want to go out to their local vendors. They eat outside there, you know. So MICE is a very profitable business to be in.
Martin Reich, it's been a pleasure talking to you on the Travel Show. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome, Dale. It's a pleasure as well.
Amazing Thailand always amazes you.
Well, that's it for this week's show. My very special thanks to Martin Reich and all his staff at the Sheraton Hua Hin Resort and Spa. Join us at the same time next week. But until then, from everyone on the Travel Show, it's goodbye.